3, 2, 1, and we're live. I mean, we're here. Maria, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
I've said this to some other people that have been on the show before, that we're just having a conversation. And it's just weird for a lot of people because they're not used to the idea of having a microphone in front of you, the camera's on, and just talking about anything. Introduce yourself to like kind of who you are, and like what do you do, and yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk to you or to the
Talk to me.
cameras?
Definitely,
I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm Maria Rydin, and I'm 25 years old. I'm turning 26 in 2 weeks, unfortunately. Time flies. I'm working in the Swedish airforce with maintenance of aircrafts, and I love it. So that's why I'm still in Linköping, because Linköping is the best city when it comes to aircraft. Saab is a big company here. And
where are you from?
I was born in Åtvidaberg.
Yeah, you said we talked about that.
Yeah, that's where you do
that's
the
where
football
I play.
thing.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
you say
That's
soccer,
right.
football?
I say football when I'm talking to you, but soccer when I'm playing.
Soccer, yeah. You're soccer for soccer.
Yep.
And so that's why I know OFF, but I don't know anything about football. That's why it's so funny, because when I got to know you,
I know. And Åtvidaberg, that's like all there is in Åtvidaberg. So how what else do you do in Åtvidaberg? If you're not going to the team, I feel like it's the only other thing. Talk a little bit louder, just because.
Yeah, okay. My voice just got ruined because I was.
Were you out last night?
Yeah, I was out.
Where'd you guys go?
Yeah, we went to Harrys.
It's the only place to go.
Yeah, like everyone else, and it was Melodifestivalen.
Yes.
It's a big music competition in Linköping yesterday.
Yeah.
So
was it extra crazy out because?
Yeah, I think that. I think
that's
so,
fun.
Yeah.
I didn't even think.
I mean, it was a lot of people with glitter clothing and like.
Right, I should have thought about that. I did watch Melodifestivalen on the TV. Actually, at 8, in the town they had like a stage set up.
Yeah, I heard.
I thought that was gonna be like carried on while the show was going on at the hockey stadium. So I rode my bike there like 8, thinking there was gonna be a bunch of people like in the city, and it was empty. There was nobody there. So then I was like, all right, did the show, like, is it over? So then I went home, and then I Googled, like, what time.
Who won?
Yeah. I Googled, like, what time Melodifestivalen is. Mello. You guys say Mello.
Yeah.
So then I looked it up, and, to be honest, I mean, it's kind of like our version of American Idol. But, obviously, whoever wins that goes to Eurovision. Right? But it's a super weird production. Like, all of it's weird. It has have you seen Hunger Games?
Yeah.
It's Hunger Games-esque. It's like the people that have won in the past come back on the show, sing, do a show, and then you have your new victims who are going to sing, and then they're going to be executed and never seen again. And what's that guy? You might have to look this up. I mean, is the actor, he's in that show Quicksand on Netflix.
Felix Sandman.
Yeah, Felix Sandman. He was... I mean, it is live. I don't think he's ever going to listen, but like, he can't sing very well, in my personal opinion. And I think it did ended up not making it. But like, it seems like a popularity contest for the most part. Is that?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people talks about it. A lot of people looks forward to it.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, it's mellow soon.
I do love seeing people in Sweden like get crazy, because it never happens. So when I was watching on the TV, I was like trying to see if I knew anybody there, and then I saw this couple like with a grown-up couple, sparkles and kissing, and I thought, that's not very Swedish. It's so cool. It was good to see. I like.
Yeah, but also there's people that wants to get people involved in the show, and they're like yelling in the breaks. They're like, yeah, so now you're gonna stand up, you're gonna shout this, and you're gonna do this.
They tell the crowd to do stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they have a general. Do you say general repetition?
Oh, repetition. What do they do?
General.
When say it på svenska.
Generalrepetition.
Yeah, samma.
Yeah, so they this Friday. I mean, it was the day before yesterday. They had the competition in full scale. With the votes, with everything. So just to prepare for how it's gonna be.
Oh, they practice.
Yeah, they practice the whole thing.
But what if you had a ticket? Did you have to show up to practice? No.
You can have a ticket to the practice show, yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Whoa! Also, you're part of the show. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Maybe that's so Swedish because we want to have the control of it. Okay, how
That's
it's gonna
pretty
be?
funny.
What's it gonna be like?
Maybe. I bet you they do stuff like that. I mean, like if you have a wedding, they do a wedding rehearsal in the States as well.
Yeah.
For American Idol, I mean the audience don't participate like clearly they do here, so I don't think they rehearse anything, and we don't have American Idol anymore. But
Don't
it was
you?
no, it's over.
Okay.
But it's a weird. It was weird for me. The stuff. Oh yeah, here's Melody Festival. I have to tell you, I'm really excited about this particular screen here because there's another podcast that I'm basically basing everything off of to start this. Is a guy named Joe Rogan. And you know who Joe is?
Yeah, I know.
You're a Joe?
No, I'm not a Joe
Oh,
because I haven't spent that time on listening.
Fair enough. But you know who he is. So on his podcast, he has like a screen that like when we have to look something up, he like has something that people can look at. And so I wanted that so badly. And now I have it. I got this TV when I first moved here for like 200 krona from a British guy. So it has the back of it has a British adapter to a Swedish adapter.
Okay.
Because he just didn't need it anymore. And he liked soccer, so we got along. And then I thought I put it here, and it was too small because I couldn't like see very well. And then I got rid of it, and I thought I threw it out. Somehow I left it in the basement, and when I started this again, I was like, "That's perfect."
I still have it.
Yeah. So look,
That's
this
good.
This
It works.
Melody Festival it is.
Yeah.
Why do they call it Mellow? It's just a nickname.
Yeah, it's a nickname. Mellow.
Yeah.
Because it's a long word to say every time.
I guess so.
But
Okay. Anyways, what were you saying? So last night you were at Harry's and everyone was super.
Yeah, and everybody was, of course, me included, drunk, dancing, having a good time, and it was a lot of people. It's always a lot of people because they've shut down all of the party. What's it called? Dance places.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they did.
In Harry's.
No, we had a lot of more places to go to before, so you could choose whether you wanted to go to the place where they played that kind of music.
Right,
and you could choose bit what genre do you want to listen to and dance to.
Yeah.
And now they just crowded everything together because we have, for 1 year almost, we've had only one place to go to, and that was Harry's.
Right.
Yeah, so but we went to Harry's because.
But did they have the downstairs?
Yeah, they had it downstairs and upstairs, so it's
but
two
not
different.
the third room. They didn't have the third room because they have three. They have like four, I think.
No, before they had Sliver also. It was
the
a nightclub
next to it.
Yeah, they had the nightclub next to it, and it was a door between, so you could just, even though you were at Harry's, you could walk to Sliver, and and it was mixed up, and then people walked. Yeah.
One of the things that's cool when I've gone out in Sweden is you'll have a room that plays X music. You go to the other room and not hear the music that's in the other room like at all. I always thought that was crazy. So then, who were you with? Were you with friends?
Yeah, I was with at the pre-party. We were 11 girls. It was
pre-party where? Your place?
No, not at my place. It was two of my best friends. Their birthday is really tight to each other, so they wanted to have a party together. And then so they invited their friends, and some of us knew both of them, and some of them just knew Linda, and some of them just knew Sofia. So it was a big.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was really fun.
Was it in Linköping, the pre-party?
Yeah, it was further out from here.
Are they university people?
No,
they just live in Linköping.
No, they just live here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I knew.
I didn't know there were that many girls in Linköping.
So I think we were 6 girls going out.
Okay.
So it was a girls' night out.
Nice.
Yeah.
You don't do that you don't go out so often.
No.
Like ever.
No.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah, it was fun, but now I always have what's it called? Hangover anxiety.
Yeah.
I always like get a bit shaky and tired, and it's like the happy hormones when you're out. I'm really happy and I'm really excited, and nothing can break them down. I'm never the girl who's angry.
Right.
I'm always happy. So the day after, it's like every single hormone level is like shut down.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm feeling I'm better.
Okay.
I'm drinking ginger and stuff
health,
like that.
Health drink.
Yeah.
Have you been to OK Press?
No.
Oh, they've got like ginger shots and wheatgrass shots. I have a wheatgrass shot you can take if you want. It's like disgusting, but really good for you. And that helps me when I have the occasional hangover.
Do you go out?
Yeah, I mean, if we win on a Saturday night, not every Saturday night, well, not most, but definitely I will. I'll definitely go out. Maybe I won't drink, and I don't need a drink to dance, so I maybe will have a couple drinks, but then it saves me from the hangover the next day, and I get to go out with the guys and have a good time. So yeah, I do not regularly, but in Linköping you kind of know everybody pretty quickly. If you go out, if like let's say you went out every weekend, like you would know everybody. I haven't gone out every weekend, but I've gone out before, and you pretty much there's Brasserie, there's Harry's, Charlie's in the summer, and you know those are the places you go to. It's kind of like for people back home, it's basically like a big university, like for us. That's kind of what Linköping is. Now they have its own university, but basically the city is its university. Yeah. But I had this thought when you mentioned the sleepover. I saw on TikTok. Do you know what TikTok is?
Yeah, I know TikTok.
I'm addicted to TikTok. Are you addicted
How
to
old
TikTok?
are you?
26.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that, but I think it's more childish.
I don't think you're looking at TikTok clearly, because that is not true whatsoever. Have you seen TikTok?
Yeah, they do like dances and.
But have you seen the other stuff on TikTok?
What other stuff?
Oh my gosh, it's genius things that people do. Creative, awesome. It's beautiful. Anyways, one of the lesser creative ones had a girl. Basically, how TikTok is, you press record, then you stop recording, and then you press record, and it will cut from here to here without any like fading. It just goes cut. We'll make one. We'll make one right now. Watch, I'll show you what it looks like. It's easy. So.
I got nervous.
TikTok. It's amazing. Look, well, this is a good one. Nobody can see this. Sorry, everybody.
What? So there's
all right, so they just do all sorts of stuff. Here, we'll make one real quick.
Yeah, we'll do that.
No, we're not doing that. So I'll do. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. So then I recorded that for like a little tiny bit. Here's. They translated it on. I have Google Translate, so it's tap talk.
Okay.
But yeah, whatever. That's TikTok.
No, it's the debut single of Kesha. Yeah, I was thinking about TikTok on the clock.
Oh no, this is the actual song. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, Kesha.
So then, okay, so then we got that piece of you.
You took a picture of me.
I took a picture of you. In fact, I could probably. That's the next technology thing, because I've never. Next time I make a TikTok, I'll be able to airplay it. So on the thing, so then everyone can see it, because these people aren't going to be able to see the TikTok. No. But okay, so we got that part. Then let's say we take Bambine, and then we do one of me. Okay. And then let's just say that's.
I feel like an old lady.
Then no, what? I'm older than you. Right. So then, with the most important part of the whole thing is the song that you choose. So I'm actually not sure if I can play this on the podcast, but yeah, I can.
I don't get this.
Yeah.
I don't get this.
Well, let me show you. So this was not a good TikTok because we didn't spend a lot of time on it.
Wow, it's 3 pictures and there's no fading. It's just like.
No, but you need to watch it. We're not gonna spend time watching TikTok. She's a hater. TikTok is amazing. Anyways, my point was I was watching a TikTok like that, and this girl does a video of her saying, "I'm at a sleepover with 11 other women," and then she cuts it like I showed you, and then it says, "None of them know I'm a lesbian. Wish me luck," because she's with 11 girls. So I was thinking when you mentioned your sleepover, like in
sleepover.
Like, well, not your sleepover, your party. But like, she had a sleepover.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But you're having a party with 11 other girls. And if you're gay, even if you're a guy or a girl or whatever, that would be like exciting, theoretically, right? Because you're with a bunch of other, like, if I was on a sleepover with 11 women, that would be exciting, theoretically. Yeah. And so I was thinking about her. In your case, are there anybody that maybe, or is there somebody that is a lesbian?
Yeah, amongst 4 of them.
4 of them. Are they in a relationship with each other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's different because obviously. Okay, that's cool. The TikTok just made me think if you guys were all girls and we're all 11 single girls, the odds are that probably one of you might be lesbian, maybe, but you didn't know, would be like she'd be having maybe like an especially good time. I don't know. Somebody can correct me. I don't actually know.
I mean, if I'm on a party with 10 guys,
is that too many? Maybe. Like, would be great.
Would be like, oh, it's people, nice people. I'm hanging out
Right,
with
you don't
people.
see gender. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't see gender. No, I don't mean like that. I mean, if there's someone that I would be interested in, of course, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
for me, it was like we were 11 girls having a good night, dancing, having a party, great times. Coming out, it's a bunch of guys out. It's
I would hope
a
so.
lot of guys.
Mostly guys.
Yeah, and I don't see the guys when I'm out.
What?
No.
Because you're with the girls.
Yeah, because I was with the girls. Okay, maybe I got a
But
bit angry
wouldn't you
on
want
one
to
guy.
see? Oh, you. Sorry. Say it again. You
No,
what?
I'm a happy girl when I'm drunk. I'm always happy and I'm having a good time.
You got angry at one guy. That's what you said.
Yeah,
Well, was he hitting on you?
no, he grabbed my friend is really short, and she was walking in front of me because we wanted to go to a bit calmer place area, and then a guy thought that she was walking too much towards him, so she would like
Hit him.
crash into him, like because
Okay.
I don't know him, so he grabbed her head and threw it away.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh my gosh.
And her head, it was like, hair, and it was,
it's terrible.
and when you're really happy, I'd see it like a full, like a clock. So when you're really happy, you're at 11:59, and it's so easy to go to 1 minute over. Then you're on the angry side or the happy
I
side,
understand. Yeah.
because it's so easy to just, if something breaks it totally, like when he did that to my friend, I'm really happy. I'm walking with my thumbs up, and he's doing that. And I was like, walking to him, and I told him, I was like, "Excuse me, do you realize what you just did?" And I think he understood what he did, but it was like, what's it called when you go into the position of defense? Yeah. So he was starting to yell at me, and he was like having a drink, and the watery mouth. So it was like he was just starting to spit on me, and I hold my hand up towards him like this to I was like, just don't do that again.
Yeah.
And then he got a bit what's it called,
Aggressive.
Yeah. So he started he started to push me away. He was like, back the fuck up, back off. I was like, whoa.
Oh my gosh.
And then he spit on me, and he was like doing some so I just ran after him, grabbed his what's it called, neck, here,
turtleneck.
yeah. So I almost wrapped my nail off. I was like, so the buttons just
Of his clothes.
Yeah.
They ripped.
Yeah. So and then a guard came and it was like, yeah, what's going on? I was like, he just grabbed my friend's head and threw it away like it was a football.
Was your friend okay?
She was like, he was disorientated.
Yeah.
So the guard was like, yeah, you should go up and talk to the police about it because this is serious.
Right.
I was like, no, I'm having a good night. I don't want him to ruin this night. Just take him out of here because if I see him again, I'm not responsible of what happened to him.
And then they took him out?
Yeah.
Did they end up taking him out? Okay.
Yeah. I hope so.
And was that friend like one of the, of the 11 girls, you're not close with all of them the same?
She was the one I was almost closest, yeah.
Okay. And she's in Linköping also?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you still working like crazy hours like usual?
Crazy hours?
Yeah, you work crazy. You don't work like a normal Swede does.
I work the most normal hours any Swede could do.
You were saying like you're busy, like you're on the clock all the time for calls. Like
yeah,
they can call you at any point.
Yeah, but that's when I'm on call.
Okay.
Still I'm working.
So you're still doing on call.
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Okay. And then you've explained it to me before, but what exactly do you do in your work?
So difficult to. Not even my friends get what I work with because it's not that interesting for people. For me, it's interesting. We have aircraft. They need maintenance. I plan the maintenance, so it will.
But it's military aircraft.
Yeah,
aircraft for the most part.
Aircraft, yeah.
Okay. But then when you're on call, you described to me like, they could call you at any time, and then you have to ship like very specific equipment that you can only find in X country to get to Sweden.
For example, it's like in the civil world. If you have an aircraft and you need something, just a small tiny piece, just break, and you have to have the what's it called? Full working aircraft, like ASAP.
Got it.
Then my job is to bring that to us.
Got it. One sec.
You need this piece to get this Formula One to work. Right now. And if you want it to go so bad, you don't see the full picture of, okay, maybe people in my surroundings do whatever they can do, but they want you to do more.
Sure.
So they could tell me like, yeah, but just get a ticket to the States, pick one up and go back.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but that's not how it works. So that's the stressful part.
I really don't like when people, this is a very minor example. I was on the phone with Comhem, which I have tremendous anger towards.
Comhem is...
okay, thank you. You're the host now. Being a better host than me. Comhem is how you get Wi-Fi. Yeah. And you can only get Wi-Fi. Like this building only can use Comhem. So if I hate Comhem, I can't change. And I was on the phone with them, and I called them on a Friday, and their phone number wasn't working. So I made a video of their phone number not working, and I needed to call them because it's very complicated. But basically, it's not under my name, needed to be switched, blah blah blah. And if you miss a bill, you get a Sergel or something like that. There's a thing called, like, if you miss a bill, you get in trouble and you have to pay extra. But if you miss it again, you're like in a lot of trouble, like a lot of trouble, like. Not get kicked out of the country, but like almost get kicked out of the country. So I was pissed because I needed to call them so I didn't have to pay this extra fee, so then I wouldn't be liable for being kicked out of the country. And their phone number wasn't working. So I made a video and I emailed it to them. I go, what the heck? Like, if my bill is due tomorrow, I'm not it's not my fault. I've tried to call you multiple times up to this point, and you're not taking my call. So then I press record on my phone. I finally get them on the phone next week, and I'm like the 100th caller. You have to wait for 100 people. So I record. So my phone has like a recording of 100, like 100 people going through it. Oh, you're number 99. You're number 98. You're number okay. And I finally get them on the phone, and I go, look, the service has been. I was very polite, but I was frustrated. I was like, look, the service has been terrible. I'd like compensation for this terrible service. And
no.
And I haven't been able to pay my bills.
Right, exactly. Guy.
And I'm imagining myself talking to you, being like, I will not take no for an answer. I need this right now. And this is funny.
Stand in line and shut up. Stand in line. There's a line, and it's 99 people in front of you. You can do whatever you want.
But
you can do.
I have the ego to think that I'm more important than those 99 people. Just like the people that you're.
Imagine the person on the place 102.
And I've worked at restaurants before, so I do know that, you know, if I can't get you a cheeseburger and you want cheese, then, you know, that's a problem. Like, that's a bad example.
Is it their fault that you hadn't paid your bill?
No, of course, but it's their fault that I couldn't pay my bill. I've been calling them for like months trying to get a hold of them, and I couldn't do it.
But why couldn't you pay? What was the fault?
I'll tell you.
You can call me.
No, I would have.
I can help you.
Okay, I would have next time. But here's what the problem was. Months ago, I had them change. This is hilarious.
Oh my God.
Months ago, I had them change the name from the person who used to live here to my name, so I can have auto euro. So the bank will pay it automatically, correct? So I called to confirm that they did that, and they said yes, we've done it. So then I went to the bank to confirm that I could have auto euro, and they said you're not registered under this account. And I said, well, what the heck? They just told me
that euro.
Auto euro.
Autogiro. Autogiro. Okay.
Autogiro.
I heard euro. I was like, no, we're in Sweden. In Sweden, we don't have euro.
Oh, thank you.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. I can talk about that.
Oh, yeah, please. Oh, what? This is how much trouble I get in?
Yeah, if you don't pay.
Oh, so if I don't, okay. Luckily, Rydin is smart and pulled this out. If I don't pay, the Crown Prosecutor's Office is the Central State Administrative Authority, which has the task, among other things, of ensuring that unpaid debts are paid. Operations are carefully regulated from time to time. The debt, okay. What happens if I don't do it? I don't really want to know. But clearly, they have a system in place called. This is a hit on TikTok, by the way. Fogden. Kronofogdemyndigheten. There's a whole thing.
Nailed it.
Nailed
it.
Oh, thank you.
No.
Of
course not.
There's
Kronofogdemyndigheten. Oh, I did.
On TikTok, they have people getting 100,000 views of Americans just saying Swedish. So now we should get 100,000
Yeah,
views.
yeah, you can do that. We can.
Should I do it
I
again?
have a lot of
Should I say
words
it
you
again?
could say.
Like what?
It's something with a lot of R's in it. Regeringskansli.
Regeringskansli. Perfect. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, okay, that wasn't.
That was
so,
pretty freaking
yeah,
good,
it's
actually.
Freaking good is too much. You're in Sweden now. You can't be freaking much. You're lagom. Lagom.
I actually never hear anyone use that word.
I got a bit. You know, when you talk, I get a bit of a pulse because when I hear you, I'm like, oh no.
You get nervous?
Oh no, yeah.
Why?
You're not doing like we do it in Sweden.
What am I doing? Please tell me.
Yeah.
I've been trying to fit in for so long.
Yeah, but if
my pants are the tightest
like,
they've ever been.
You can't get for example the come hem thing. You can't get compensated for bad service while standing in
Okay, but you didn't let me finish my thing. Let me explain. Let me explain
sorry.
why I deserve compensation. Is because when I was I sent them a message saying, look, I've asked you to change the name to this gentleman to my name. They did not do that, right? Months went by with my assumption that they had done it. So I was waiting for a bill to come in the mail to me.
Okay.
And it never came, and it went to him, and I had to pay extra. So I was one step away from being in trouble with the thing that hit. Exactly. I was one step away from that.
No,
So
you were one step away of this.
the luxury trap.
What?
No, Lyxfällan.
Lyxfällan.
Yes.
Lyxfällan.
Yeah.
It's English.
It's a Swedish
Yeah.
program broadcast on. The program involves individuals and friends who have financial difficulties being assisted by an expert team of 4 financial coaches. I was one step away from being on this TV show, which probably would have been beneficial for my media here. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to stay in Sweden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was really nervous because I love Sweden and I love everything about it. So when I got on the phone with them, I go, look, the service has been terrible. Let's just focus on the first thing. Can you please change my name? Right? The guy was super nice, and I was super nice to him. His name was Frederick Thomason. He was half Finnish, and I got to know him.
Who remembers that?
Because I'll explain why I need to remember such a things. So, actually, it was Frederick. then I'm talking to him, and I go, look, this has been great service. I really appreciate it, but the way I've had to go about this, I've waited 2.5 hours to talk to you today. I don't appreciate it. I have other things I have to do. I'd like to speak to your manager. And he goes, that's not possible. And I go, well, I'm not going to get off the phone until I'm talking to your manager. And he goes, we'll give you a reference number. So he also said the manager will call you back. This is an ongoing process, actually. We're still in the middle of it. And he goes, okay. I said, okay, give me a reference number. Give me the reference number. I wait 2 weeks. Nobody calls me back. So I call him again. I go, can you please confirm that all this was changed so I can make sure I get the things in the mail, and also that I can set up Auto Euro. So I call again. I get a lovely woman. I don't remember her name. And I say, can you put in this confirmation number? I'm supposed to get a call from the manager. She puts it in. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. We couldn't find anything. And I go, well, that's not okay. I have a recording right here on my phone of these exact numbers. So I played it for her. I said, here you go. That's Frederick's voice. Can you please explain this? And she goes, oh, okay, 1 second. So then she goes and does something I don't know. Then she's like, I'm really sorry. Like, the manager should have called you, and he hasn't yet. He's going to call you soon. And I go, I'm not getting off the phone until the manager's talking to me right now. Like, this is ridiculous. And I'm at risk of being in the luxury trap, and I would like compensation. So they did give me 200 krona and said, look, we do apologize. And I go, that's great, but I'd like to talk to your manager. It's not okay service. And I'm somebody who has too much time on my hands and would like to talk to your manager because I think this is terrible service and I don't appreciate it.
Okay, I like the story.
Okay.
Now it's better now when you explain.
Right?
Because
You
to
didn't let
begin
me
with,
finish.
Yeah, I'm a woman. I will never let you finish. That's not my job.
Okay, fair enough. So then I said, this is ridiculous. And I think, like you, this is, I mean, I'm not sure if a Swedish person would do this, but stereotypically speaking. But I actually did think about calling you when I couldn't get a hold of them. I thought, who could help me? Like Maria could do this. But I did eventually get a hold of them. And so I'm still waiting for a callback. And I haven't gotten anything in the mail saying how much I owe, which I kind of know the number now because it's consistent. And then Frederick, the guy I spoke to, he was great. He's like, oh, we'll give you this 200 krona, apologize for the delay. And also, we can change your account if you like. And I said, yeah, I would like to do that because I don't use the Comhem app, TV or whatever. So I just use the internet basically. And then, he was great. And I can show you the recordings. I was lovely on the phone. But there's a great story. the way this came about, my personality to do this, is because my parent, I've seen my parents do it before. And my dad has this great story. He goes, one time we were in a hotel and my father worked the X Games. You know what the X Games are?
No.
It's like guys do backflips on motorcycles. Yeah, will you pull that up for? Thank you. It's super cool. It's super famous. People do backflips on motorcycles. Skateboarders do all these flips. You never heard of the X Games? It's like the Olympics of extreme sports.
Maybe John Olsen? Did he? Yeah.
Yes. Who's that? Is he Swedish?
Jon Olsson.
What does he do? Which sport?
Freestyle. Skiing.
Yeah.
Skateboard. Okay. No, wait, what's it called? Not skateboard. Snowboard. Sorry, yeah.
X Games is an annual commercial sports event owned and produced by ESPN. My audience knows who X Games is. You're the one who doesn't know what X Games is.
Yeah, you have the oldest 26-year-old in Sweden here. Because I don't know anything.
You're saying the oldest. That's
oldest.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. But my point is we're in this hotel and he's working X Games. So I'm like 6 or something and I have to go with him to work and stuff. And, I want a peanut butter sandwich with like no crust on it. But we're at a decent hotel. So like they don't have that. So he gets on the phone and he goes, my son would like a peanut butter sandwich. Is it possible to make a peanut butter sandwich? I pay you guys hundreds of dollars in some cases over multiple years because he goes there every year. I'd like a peanut butter sandwich for my son. Is that possible? And they go, no, I'm sorry, we don't have any. It's impossible. It's not possible. And he goes, let me tell you a story. We put a guy in a bomb, blew up that bomb, and put him into the stratosphere. We blew up the same bomb and landed him on the moon. Then we put him back in that bomb and blew him back to Earth. I think you can get me a peanut butter sandwich. And then the guy is super motivated.
That?
He's like, oh my gosh, humans are amazing. Let me get that done. And there it is, my peanut butter sandwich.
Can I say 2 things in this story?
Please do.
Spoiled.
Spoiled? What?
Yeah, that's spoiled.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you were spoiled.
Agreed.
If I told my mom, I want a sandwich with this and this on, she would say, oh, that's not possible. Not something else?
I would have pissed your mom. Well, people
blow each other. Yeah, and okay. On the other hand, are you addicted to... Were you addicted to peanut butter? What would be the consequence?
I don't know. I was 6. I don't want other food. I wanted a peanut butter sandwich, and it's a hotel that is a really nice hotel. My point is, I personally prefer service where they basically never tell me it's not impossible, because it is possible. It's a little bit harder, might take a little bit more time, but it is possible. Now, like if somebody called you and said, "I need this right now," you go, "We're gonna work on it." But that's all I want you to hear. I don't want to hear that's not possible. I don't want to know the details.
Yeah,
all I want to know is that it gets done. That's all I care about. Now, I make the point of going particularly after the job is done, like with Frederick, I go, was that a lot of your time? Like, would you like a tip? Like, should I pay you extra for this? Like, my father respected that they would go out of their way to do that and either paid them responsibly or was kind to them or whatever it is. I get that because my parents work 24/7. I work 24/7. I mean, I play football, but I do podcasts or whatever else. So I get the idea of work is effort. So I'm grateful. But I just don't appreciate when people go, it's not possible, because it is possible.
Yeah, anything is possible.
It's just harder and more time, and that's an issue. And one of the things I do find, I love Sweden, but something that I struggle with often is like things here don't open until 10 and then they close at 4. When I first came here, I wanted to volunteer to school. I want to give my service for free. That's what I wanted. It was so hard to find some place that would allow me to work for free. Where I was like, because I was on a work permit and you can't have 2 work permits. So I said, look, I'm just going to volunteer. It's called a elevon assistant. So I said, look, I just want to be help the kids and stuff. Oh, this is the X Games guy. What sport does he?
Didn't you know him?
No. He's a good-looking guy. Ski. Cool.
He looks a bit like...
Oh, he was in the film The Game? I know that one.
And that picture looks a bit like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, that's an old picture.
Yeah. He's got a YouTube channel.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
So you're not that old. You watch YouTube.
I watch YouTube. I have struggled with Come Hem. That's why I actually thought it was a bit interesting when you talked about it.
You have struggled with Come Hem?
Yeah.
Ridiculous, the service there. I'm calling Frederick.
No, I had the weird... Maybe it was... I think it was Come Hem. Maybe it was...
Can I steal one of those pillows, Remy?
And I was living on the countryside in a house. I had the phone line, in copper thread, like a real analog phone.
What do you mean
And
on like a line?
Analog, line phone.
I have one of those here in the hallway.
Yeah, is it working?
No.
No, but mine was working, and that was the only possibility for me to get internet in the woods.
Right.
Yeah, so it went to the line.
Oh, the Ethernet. Yeah, an Ethernet cord it's called.
No, it's called internet. Ethernet is...
For internet.
What's Ethernet? What's the difference? I mean,
Oh,
Ethernet
it doesn't matter. Okay, internet.
maybe
it
doesn't matter. And I had the phone line internet version.
Okay.
Yeah. So I called Comhem one day. I was like, okay, my internet isn't working, and my home phone doesn't work. I can't get in contact with anyone because I had I didn't have any mottagning. What's it called? Service on my phone.
Yes.
I couldn't. Yeah, because I lived in a black hole. You couldn't call anyone. The phone didn't work. So I had to use my internet or anything like that to get in contact with it. Yeah, Sweden is it's a good country, but when you live in the woods, you live alone. It's the woods.
Got it.
So I had that internet thread. That was my lifeline.
Yeah.
My communication possibilities to the outside world. And then it didn't work. And I called, and I had to call from my work. So I spent my times from my work. I need, something's wrong. And they said that they would look it up. They couldn't see what was wrong. And it took 3 months, I think, until they figured out the problem. Because the copper line...
was not chewed or something.
No, someone had stole it. Because copper is expensive.
Oh my god.
So someone had just went there and cut it off and
rolled it up. Wow.
How couldn't they find that?
I agree. That's terrible service. That's ridiculous. So, that's my story. But I wanted to go back to, you said your pulse gets nervous when I do un-Swedish things. Before you start, tell me, because I really do want to know. I find now, and I told this story before, I was at dinner with a Swedish family, and they invited over another American. And he was so loud and obnoxious. I thought, am I like that? That's horrible. I don't want to be
He was on the next level?
He might have been equal to me, but I recognized that he was obnoxious and he was an asshole. And I thought, is that what I sound like? And after that, I never talked at another dinner again. I was so scared to sound like that guy. So, I also recognize, if when I go into town, and this is a stereotype for sure, but, people that speak loudly on their phones or stand in the bike lane, often they're not generational Swedish. They're not they're not Swedish, and then maybe their parents aren't Swedish, and so on and so forth. Or maybe they're first generation Swede. They've not even first generation. They've literally moved here from another country. And I have the urge, and unlike Swedish people who won't say anything, I would say something and say hey, you can't stand there and don't talk so loud. Come over here. And I actually wanted to tell them, not because I care that it's loud, because I'm really loud, but I actually want Swedish people not to hate them, for those things. So I want to go up to them and go, look, I know you don't know, but there's this really weird rule. Swedish people are really weird, but they just really don't like when you talk loud on your phones. So I'm trying to, I don't want Swedish people to hate immigrants because I'm an immigrant and I don't want them to kick me out. So since you represent me, can you just, stand here and not be as loud? So these two gentlemen came into the pool wearing their shoes. And it says very specifically, take your shoes off before you come into the pool area. So I went up to them and said, gentlemen, seem like nice people. I was trying to do it in Swedish. I was like, snälla, du måste ta off din skor, tack. And, they're my age, so they immediately see it as aggression.
Oh, yeah.
So, and there's nothing really I can do about that. But I didn't do it because I don't really care I wear my shoes in my house, unlike Swedish people. And I wear my clean shoes. I have shoes designated for the in-house because I'm Swedish, but I still like wearing shoes in my house. I don't know what that is. But it doesn't make sense. I agree with Swedish people. It doesn't make sense. But the point is that I now recognize when other people are making my pulse a little bit higher. So I think that I'm pretty good now. I think I'm pretty Swedish. But you're telling me I'm not. Between the comb.
Sorry,
No, you're right though. It's totally true. So what I want to know is, when are those moments when I'm being the people who are standing in the bike lane or talking on their phone loud. Mm-hmm. Give me a moment when I'm doing that comes to mind. Comhem, I was doing it in my own house, so nobody knew. But now everybody knows. But I would love to know when I'm being... Sometimes, they don't know. It's not like they're doing it on purpose. They genuinely don't know. I didn't know when I was ignoring the bike lanes or not taking a nummer lap. I didn't know. I just didn't know. How was I supposed to know? Then I learned after an old lady would scream at me, and then
I love this.
I would
love
learn.
This.
The best story, then I'll let you talk, is I would ride my bike when I first came here, and you guys are so good. You have your bike lanes and your walking lanes, and it's so funny. I'll be in, say, the walking lane taking a picture, and the person will either wait until I'm done taking the picture or walk like right next to me so they don't enter the bike lane when there's no bikes in sight for miles, just so they don't go in the walk lane. And that's very obnoxious to me. Or if there's a red light and there's no cars, they will not move until it turns green. And one time I was riding my bike and this guy goes, I was riding my bike and it was a red light, no cars. Stockholm is much more normal. They just cross the street like New Yorkers do. So this guy, he goes, I cross the street when it's a red light, and he goes, Road! And I turn around and I go, Hur mår du? Jag mår bra. Tack för frågan. Because obviously I can pretend like I don't know Swedish. And
so you just started to act like a weird person.
no,
so
it was a joke. I didn't actually do that.
Okay,
but
thank you.
It's funny when old people yell at me, and because I don't understand really what old people say for the most part, is like they'll say, Du kan inte cykla här, and I'll be like, Jag går bra, tack för frågan, thanks for asking. I'm really good, thanks for asking. I think that's pretty funny. But my question to you now.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's the best.
My question to you now is, can you think of another moment, you know me pretty well now, like that maybe I just don't genuinely know. I just don't know. And I want to learn. I wear tight pants now. They're super tight. That's like Swedish, you know?
Yeah, that's perfect. And also they're a bit ripped.
Yeah, a little bit ripped
and
hemmed. I got them perfectly hemmed because you guys are
what
so good at
with
dressing. I'm trying to be Swedish.
Yeah, and also I think you turn a bit Swedish more and more.
Totally, I do.
Because now, if you go to the States,
now
you would stand in line forever. Because when I have like story about that. Like your listeners, I don't know how many of them live in States.
I'll tell you how many there are though. There's like 1 million. So.
Yeah, 1 billion, I hope. But I mean, if somebody listens who hasn't been in Sweden, they would think we're like.
Well, they don't know. I guess, in fairness, they don't know what a nummer lap is. But what's your story? Do you have a story?
Yeah. What was the story again? We were talking
about waiting in line.
But yeah. When I'm across border, when I go to another country, there's nothing I spend more time in than standing in line when people doesn't do the same. Because I'm Swedish and I bring my culture.
What's
know
an
that
example? Where are you waiting in a line?
Yeah. Okay. For example, when I went to Turkey, I stood in line in like 7-Eleven or something. People just they walked across me and took their place in the when they wanted to pay. And I was like, hey, yeah, maybe they're in a bit hurry. Yeah, I'm not in a hurry. I have a vacay. I mean, I can wait here. And I was standing in line, I thought. And then just somebody else came before me. And then I had to realize maybe I should do the same. Should I be an asshole and just walk through the, like, what's it called where you pay
the cashier.
The cashier, yeah. So I started to do that, and I felt like an ass. Because and always when I go to other countries, also when I was in the States, I know I've been in the States once. I went to Miami, and people say that Miami is different because it's not the States. It's like, for me.
Look up. Will you do me a favor? What's her birthday? Just not the year, just the days.
14th of February, Valentine's Day.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's coming up. So look up 14th of February and then type in Florida man. And I've done this.
I think you showed me this.
I probably have showed you this because I did it with my birthday. And
you don't remember my birthday.
What did you say, Florida?
Sorry, Florida man. Her birth date and then Florida man and then Google and then it will tell you some crazy thing a Florida person has done on her birthday. Yeah. And let's see what hers. Mine was like attracts neighbor with Florida man caught on camera licking doorbell.
Oh, that's nasty.
What's the other one? A bearded man was caught on camera licking a doorbell in Florida.
If you could go back to this one.
Oh yeah. This was about
Ethernet and internet tables. And An internet cable connects.
This was back. This is our back to our conversation to your copper story with the.
Yeah, my copper. What's it called? Copper thread, copper line,
thread?
copper.
So Ethernet is Ethernet. Okay, and an internet cable connects. Okay, that's right. The biggest difference between the types of different cables is the Ethernet cable is only cable that connects directly to the computer. Connection via the Ethernet port on the computer. So between Ethernet and internet. Oh, I'm sorry. Internet cable connects a user broadband to internet connection, and Ethernet connects a basically between the different Ethernet cable.
I think people know this.
I think I'm the only one who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Connection.
You didn't know?
No.
The connection is via the Ethernet. So the Ethernet gives you internet, but you go directly to the computer, and an internet cord gives you internet connection.
You lost me at Ethernet.
Am I right?
Let's move on.
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Let's move on. That wasn't interesting at all.
Okay. But you still didn't answer my question, which is, what is something that I'm doing that makes your pulse go?
Yeah, I haven't been able to.
You haven't established anything yet. Okay, that's good. That means I'm blending in. That's what I want. I want to blend in. I want people to think I'm Swedish.
No, you interrupted me now.
Oh.
No, I haven't been able to explain it to you. Because you have just like, okay, so what brings my pulse up? You know, when I... Blah, 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 blah.
I'm sorry.
So
You're right.
I'm a talker.
You're right.
You're a talker.
It's true.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted to have you on the show.
Yeah.
I also think what's funny is you keep telling me that we don't forget the main point. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
But what's funny to me is that you keep saying like you're quite polite. I would say for a Swedish person, like you have a lot of personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's funny to me. Like I can imagine you going to a new country and being like, I'm free. Like I get to tell people how I feel to their face all the time, and I would enjoy that process.
Yeah, probably.
Right, that's the kind of the. Hope that I find I give you as a compliment. Like
Yeah,
I
no,
appreciate that.
no,
It's not
yeah.
an insult. And to other Swedish people, even what's funny is when I tell Swedish people like you're a bit shy, they always criticize themselves. They're like, yeah, we are. I go, why don't you change it? If you don't like it about yourself, why don't you just be a little less shy? Blyg
Yeah,
på svenska.
shy.
This buddy of mine gave me this great explanation. I've been asking for a long time why, if you guys criticize yourselves, they're always like, yeah, we're a bit shy. Like, you know, it's not a good thing about us. And then I always go like, well, then just why are you shy? Then don't be a shy if you don't like that about yourself.
But then you can't say that because if you're an asshole and I say you're an asshole, stop being an asshole.
No, it's different. If I go, I know I'm an asshole, and you say, and I tell you I don't want to be an asshole, then, but I know I'm an asshole, then maybe I could ask you, what could I do to be less of an asshole? He's saying I'm shy, and I don't want to be as shy, so what can I do?
But that's a personal. I mean, that's a condition you have. If you're
True,
a shy
it's trained.
person,
You're part of. I agree. But it can take training to get out of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's more of a stereotype. But the point I had before has escaped me because you interrupted me, and I've interrupted you many times. So I'm just kidding.
It's like you have something on your face. No, I don't.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It's like that. That's true. I thought you were serious. Okay, I don't remember what my point was, to be honest. Okay,
Your point was that I wasn't shy?
No, my point was that if you're shy, if Swedish people think they're shy, right, and they say to me, I don't want to be shy. Like, it's not a good thing about us. That's what some of them say. Like, yeah, we're a little shy to strangers. And I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's mostly bad. And then I say to myself, well, why don't you just, like, talk to the stranger next to you? Oh, and this is what I was going to say. But he made a good explanation as to why you are shy. And he was saying to me that you guys are shy in many cases because you actually don't want to offend the other person. Like, I'm viewing it as, like, you're shy, you're too afraid to talk. But the reality is maybe they don't want to talk. So instead of risking bothering them, I just won't. And I won't say anything. Where Americans are like, I don't care what that person feels. All I care is I'm curious about whatever. So I'm going to ask the question. And I'm going to say it so loud so everybody else can hear, because what I have to say is that important.
Here's the pulse.
Yeah, here's the pulse at this moment. Okay, so like, if I'm, a great example is, I saw a guy that had a nice coat on. I like this coat. So I said, where'd you get a coat? It's a really nice coat. And like, he was so like taken back by the fact that I talked to him. Or my favorite one is I go to the grocery store. I do this every time. And I get a lot of food when I go to the store. You guys get like one bag. It's like you guys go every day to the grocery store. I go to the grocery store like once every week and a half. I get a bunch of food, then I don't go back again. But every time I leave, you know the cash register, and then they like shuffle it to one side. I'm there for like 2 or 3 people putting my food in the bag while they're putting people out. So I always ask the woman working behind there about her day. And like I say, hur mår du? And she always responds with like, hey, because she's used to saying hey, like over and over again. And I go, hur mår du? Like, how are you? Du har mycket lång dag idag? Or du måste arbeta mycket idag? And every time they're like, oh, jag mår bra. Because nobody ever asks them anything. And they have to talk to me, which is the best part. So they can't get out of it. They're not moving. So then I bother them for that time. Okay. Now, is there a moment about my pulse that you...
Yeah, that's one of the parts.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt that one because it was just rising.
Yeah. You know, no, I get the pulse because your stories is really catchy. You get caught in them. But for me, when an American would listen to this, they were like, yeah, they agree with you. Yeah, it's weird. Why wouldn't you say to someone that they have a nice coat if they have? But for me, I'm on the other side of it. I would, of course, if someone told me, you have a nice jacket, I would like, huh? Of course.
Why? I don't
because
understand.
that's our culture. That's our weird part. And the pulse I get is when you talk about a weird situation, like a Swedish thing or something that have happened to you because of the Swedish weirdness. I get the pulse or culture. I get the pulse from 2 ways. I get the pulse from your excitement in the story, and I get the pulse from the thing you actually talks about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you see?
I do see.
Yeah, so...
But the excitement part is okay, because it's an exciting story. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's okay that I tell the story? Or?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. I love your stories. It's really good to listen to.
Okay.
The only thing is, of course, I get a bit of a pulse.
Right.
Yeah, because nervous. I'm not used to it. Imagine when I talk, I'm really loud.
You are.
I am. I'm really big, but I get bigger when I'm with you.
Yeah, and that makes you scared.
Yeah. So that I'm like big and noisy. Of course, if my friends would see me now, they would like. Yeah, that's her environment. She's always like this, but she doesn't.
But it's no. When you guys are with friends or drunk, you're normal, like a normal American, loud, crazy, silly. The university has parties at 8 a.m. Like that's normal. I totally get that. It's when you're in a group of strangers, people who don't like in the bus station or in public places. There's a flower shop down the corner here. She would prefer that I never shop there than go and talk to her and buy flowers.
Yeah,
because she's more nervous about having a conversation with me than making money of me buying her flowers. So I never go there anymore because I feel terrible that she feels so uncomfortable of me going in there. But when you guys drink and stuff, when you were in Turkey though, because I know you were in Bangkok, right? Did you go to Bangkok? Remember you sent me a Snapchat?
Yeah, right. Turkey and Bangkok is 2 different countries.
No, I know.
Yeah, I thought you were like Turkey or Bangkok.
I know I'm American, but I do know those are 2 different.
Do you know the geography? Okay.
We can look right here. But do you adapt though? Like in the line when you're in the line in Turkey, did you all of a sudden go, okay, I need to be more aggressive?
Yeah.
So you were more aggressive over and over again, right? Like throughout your trip.
Yeah, I had to. No, aggressive. It sounds so harsh, but yeah, I had to adapt. Like, okay, now I'm in a new country. I'll do it their way. Right. I had to.
Totally.
Because otherwise, I would stand there forever. I would still stand there.
Exactly. Agreed. Yeah. So when you lived like that and then you come back to Sweden, do you like have to remind yourself to like, okay?
No.
Or it just comes back.
Yeah.
Because the
reason it feels so good.
It feels better here.
It's the best feeling when you come back
funny.
to Sweden. I love traveling. I love being in warm countries. I love that, of course. But when I come home, I realize I love Sweden the most.
Okay, well I'm happy for that because I do think a lot of people don't admire how amazing Sweden is because it's an amazing country. The reason I was asking is before I came here, I was living in the States, but I was living in Israel for 3 months, and I was playing there. And when I've been to a lot of different countries before having lived here. I've been to Mexico, Brazil, Canada doesn't count, but the United States, England, and I've been to France, I've been to Italy. And when I go to those cultures, the difference I find is not that different to the United States. Like strangers talk to each other, like there's loud people, there's quiet people, there's whatever. it's Sweden that is drastically different from those countries. Now, imagine I'm sure if I went to a China or a Japan or somewhere in Asia, I might also talk about how those cultures are so different from America. But even like the other day, I got a massage at a Thai place. You know, the people there are like, "Hey, how are you? Doing? Having a good day?" Like one of the mother who like gave me a massage, she was like, "Oh, you're my son now. You're my new son." Like very friendly. It was a very friendly, right? And that's normal. That's like, okay, that's typical. It's only Sweden that's so different. But when I had moved from Israel to Sweden, and actually I had moved from the United States to Israel, and Israel's in a very, you think like I'm aggressive, or you think the United States is aggressive. Israel is another level by far. And I have a couple stories. First, I should preface with, it's a beautiful country, and everybody should go, not because of religious reasons. Like, it's magnificent. It's only 4 hours from here, warm weather, like, it's beautiful. But it's very aggressive, and part of the reason is it's in a constant state of war all the time. And when I was there, I was the age, I was 21, 22, of which you're serving the army. And I could pull off an Israeli look, in a sense, and I didn't have a gun with me because I'm an American. And I had people come up to me all the time and be like, where's your gun? Like, because if you are in the army and you have a gun, you can never put it down. I was going to physical therapy, and he would go from the bench to the trampoline, back to the bench, holding his gun the entire time. Like, you're never allowed to put it down because you will go to jail. And because if somebody else took the gun, obviously, it'd be dangerous. So everyone has to serve in the army there from ages 19 to 22, men and women. It's changed since a little bit in terms of how many years. But then you have, like, people like me who they knew either I was a tourist or a secret agent because those are the only people who don't have guns who are my age and are Israeli. And when I was there, I wanted to get the bus like every other person. I got to take the bus. Unless you're prepared to die and get in front of that bus, it will not pick you up. And I found myself missing bus after bus for like an hour. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to die. If that's what it takes to catch the bus. So I literally, on the next bus I came, I stood in front of it. So the only way it was moving was if it was going to hit me. So I went, okay, like this is how the buses stop. And the bus stops. I tell the guy, look, I have a suitcase. I'm going to put it under the bus. Then I'm going to get on the bus. Do not leave in between these two sequences. So I put my suitcase underneath, and he starts taking off. And then I start slamming on the bus. I get on the bus, and I start yelling at him, and he starts yelling at me. And became an everyday routine where we just screamed at each other every time I took the bus, and we became friends at the end of it. It was like, oh, fuck you too, and I'll see you later, okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Like, okay, it was just, that was normal. And I would ask people for directions, and they'd be like, I'd ask one person, hey, how do I get to this place? And they would grab you, and they'd be like, I think you should go this way. And then another person out of nowhere would be like, no, you should go this way. And I was like, don't touch me, or, invading my personal space in a sense. And then after that, I came here. And I was pretty well trained.
So you started to jump in front of the
I was
buses?
pretty well trained at being aggressive. So then this is the peak of the story. So I'm living in Israel. I've accustomed to myself to the Israeli way. I have a little chip on my shoulder. Anybody looks at me, you give them the little look back like, fuck you. And, you think it, like, you could go to the grocery store and negotiate how much the apple was. Like, if I went to Ica and was like, I'm not paying 10 krona for this apple. Like, I'll give you 8. They're like, what are you talking about? It's a grocery store. There's nothing to negotiate. And in Israel, you can negotiate everything. You can negotiate a parking ticket. Like, it was just crazy. And it's a really actually developed country that's amazing. They're like the second behind Silicon Valley in apps, and they're unbelievable. So anyways, I'm there, and I'm like crossing the street one day. And I have in my jacket a water bottle. But I had a zip jacket like this, and the water bottle was big. It was like this big, so I couldn't put it in my pocket. So I put it like in my jacket, so it would like zip in my jacket. I'm not giving a good example, but like imagine this was a zipper.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's sticking out a tad, just a tad, not a lot. It's not that drastic. It was just a water bottle. So
but I mean, what it could look like.
Okay, let me finish. And you recognize that because you're in the army. So then I cross the street, and these two guys look at me, and they give me the look like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to cross the street there." And I'm Israeli now, so I'm like, "Oh, I can cross the street here if I want to." And in Israel, this means like, wait a minute. But in Italy, it's like, fuck you, So
Isn't it? This tastes amazing.
That also tastes amazing. Like, oh, it's really good. But you could be like, oh, fuck you. So the people who are just listening, I'm putting my fingers together that look like
Kurdish is
in Kurdish.
Just wait a that
Just-
will kick your ass.
Exactly. It's a negative thing. It's like, so in Israel, they would tell me that all the time. They'd be like, they'd go like this. I'd be like, what the hell is wrong? I didn't do anything. I just got here. And in Israel, it's so great. They love food. I was going to train like with teams, and I'd be like, you want anything to eat? And go, no, I'm about to play in a game. Thank you. Like literally 10 minutes before the game. You need anything to eat? Every restaurant, there's food already on the table. You never wait for food. There's already food there, and then you order more food. Amazing. And the food is amazing. So, I'm there. The culture is probably kind of similar to Kurdish, to be fair. Yeah. And it's aggressive in this way. And I cross the street. I give these guys like the eye, like, don't bother me. I can cross the street. And I was being a super dick, and I was like acting like a teenager. And I walked a bit slower just to piss them off. And I get across the street. 2 guys get out of the car, and they pull 2 guns on me. And I look over to my left, and I'm like, there's an old lady. There's my witness. I'm about to get the fucking shit beat out of me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what did I knew what I did, but I didn't think it was, like, necessary for those actions. They start screaming at me in Hebrew, and I don't know any Hebrew. So I turn around, and I start speaking in English, like, as much as possible. I'm a tourist. I'm so sorry. Like, I know I was supposed to walk there. Like, I'm just a dumb tourist. I'm lost. And they go, take off all your clothes. Like, what are you doing? Where's your passport? I take off my jacket, and the water bottle falls out. They turn around and left.
Yeah, then they realized you're just stupid wearing.
I was just being a stupid tourist. I had my water
carrying
bottle.
your water bottle like a gun.
And they thought, and like a gun
but
or a bomb.
that's good because they were.
They
were like,
that's good that you say that.
Yeah, because they
There's
wanted
eyes
to
everywhere.
protect. Yeah,
100%.
they want. Yeah, of course. That gives a bit of a good end on this story. I got the pulse here.
Most people who I tell that story to, they're like, I don't want to go to Israel now because it sounds dangerous.
No, that feels like security to me.
Which is how I would like people to view the story. But I could also see why people are like, anybody who's like freaking out that you have a bomb.
Maybe you don't have to point the gun to someone immediately. Maybe you could just, excuse me, what do you have inside of your jacket?
But then I could, if I
maybe
was...
maybe you just threw it out.
Yeah. But then after that moment, then I moved to Sweden. And then I had to really like track back my personality big time. If I would see somebody who I found was attractive, and in America too, you're encouraged. Like if there's a pretty girl in the grocery store, and you don't go up to her. Our culture's like, you missed a chance, regret that for the rest of your life. That could have been the one. That's our culture that we have. Here it's like, well, don't go up to them. Like, stalk them on Instagram first, at least. Like, don't talk to them.
That's so true.
I have a buddy. Apparently in Sweden, if you look up the license plate number, you can find out who it is.
Where could you do
Sweden.
this?
In Sweden.
Yeah, if you pay.
Yeah, if you pay, not so much. You can find out who owns the car.
Yeah.
And so my buddy saw the pretty girl in the grocery store, and he looked up who she was on the license. He was telling me this story.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, what are you, a beta man? Like a beta guy?
I've done that.
Yeah, with guys?
Yeah.
What?
What?
That's creepy.
Okay. I'm even more Swedish than that. I took the license plate, I wrote it down, I was in my car, and he was like, oh my god, I'm blushing now. And he was like standing in next to me in a line, and I was like, and he was like smiling, and I was like, smiling, like not Swedish at all for me, but we were like in 2 safe zones.
You clearly saw each other as
he was in a safe zone, in his car, I was in my safe zone. So you
Right.
like, smile and wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like not wave, of course. Like wave with your eyes.
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Like smile. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he went away.
Yeah.
And I took the license plate number. I wrote it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to.
Look him up.
Yeah, maybe I should look him up.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course I realized that now I've looked him up. What now? I'm a creep. I'm a creep if I message him. Hi, I'm the girl who stood next to you.
You should do it. Totally.
Yeah, maybe I missed my chance. I'm
Could've
single
been the guy.
now. Yeah, I'm single. I don't have kids. I don't have a family. I don't have I have a life. But I mean, maybe that was why I didn't do it.
No, but then the next thing we say is like, look, the odds that that's the guy is very unlikely. So you don't have to worry.
Of course, he's a guy.
He's a
Sorry.
Right. There's a lot of people, a lot of fish in the sea, as they say, which there's actually not that many like actual fish in the sea anymore. But so that saying doesn't really work. But in our culture, you're just encouraged to go for those things. And it'd be if you messaged me, it would be weird, but like I would like it. Of course, I would like it.
I think it's if guys do that, it's totally creepy.
Yeah.
If girls do that,
I
the
think
guy
so.
will be like, oh yeah, nice.
I think also
Do you think that?
Yeah.
I definitely think that
No,
also
I think
in,
he would think that I
no,
was a creep.
okay, we would think
At first.
but then we get to know you. Like I'm still in my safe zone. I'm on Instagram, miles away from you. Like, what are you gonna do? Find me? I guess I'd be a bit nervous. You might have found me, like if you found my name, which you can also do with Hita Puntese. You could literally find where I live, but it would better that you do that than not do it. In my opinion. And you can even say like, I know this is super creepy, but here's the truth. I looked you up on the license plate, and like you can do that. So maybe you shouldn't say that, but I found you, and like the thing is, I've done that with women. Like, you could direct message them on Instagram if you want to.
Why
Slide
did you
into the
laugh so
DMs.
much when I did it?
No, but
No, you didn't do it. That's what we're laughing at.
No, I was laughing because the number.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the
the,
first-
I was
time.
impressed that you looked them up. I was
Yeah.
laughing at you. I was impressed that you did it.
yeah, okay.
I was
But
very
you have
impressed.
done it also, almost, but not
Yeah,
in
it's
the same
more,
way.
way more than that. I've been
Okay,
10 times more
yeah.
aggressive than
Oh,
that. I
okay.
actually messaged them. for one.
You did it.
I
the
actually
full Monty.
send them.
Yeah.
The full. I said we'll send them a message. I've never used the license plate technique because that's not a thing where we live. But I've gone up to a woman, and when I said beta too, like to when I told my friend like he did that, I was like, in the States, women would find that very unattractive and creepy. They would much prefer that you come up to their face and say like hi. Also, I find it very funny here. When I first arrived here, I was not Swedish and I was naive and excited to be in a new country with just new people. So I would go up to them and introduce myself. And that does not, I mean, they're just petrified, and that does not work. It doesn't work even if I just want to get to know them as a person before anything else. Like you guys are most of you are just petrified that I've approached you. In the States, there's so many techniques that guys use. They whistle at you, or they yell at you, and they're hoping that you turn around. Now, from a woman's perspective, it's terrible. But from a woman's perspective, that's horrible. From a guy's perspective, they're too scared to approach you. So they're kind of hoping if I whistle at them, maybe they'll turn around and see I'm good looking, or because I think I'm good looking even if it's a fat guy, and they'll be like, oh, maybe then she'll want to sleep with me right now, like right here. That's in the subconscious mind. That's how it's operating. Now, I understand that, and I think that's horrible to do to women. So instead, I go up to them, and I used to, which is the beta play. Where do I go? Where's the nearest coffee shop? Or you ask some dumbass question, or you say, oh, I like your shoes, or something stupid like that. That's what most of us start out with.
Did you lie? Could you say
No.
to a girl
It'd be
if
genuine.
she-
It'd be genuine. I chose her shoes instead of her jacket.
Ah, yeah, true.
Like, it's a genuine thing. Now, do I love her shoes that much? Like, if it was on a guy that I found, or another girl that I found unattractive, no, I would probably not tell her about her shoes. But what I think is unfair about women to men is it's not only that I may find you physically attractive, you might have a vibe about you. You chose, like this, what is this?
Cargo pants?
Cargo pants. Like, that, to me, is a very loud piece of clothing. Like, a girl in the United States who wore that would immediately be seen as, like, a posh girl. Because it's just loud. It's shiny. Like, that's just the reality.
Loud? Is that a...
Loud is like
what
stands out. That vibe makes me go like, I like the vibe about the person. Let me find out more. Right? So that's what's encouraging. You guys often think of it as like, you only thought I had a good butt or something. You guys only see it physical. It's a vibe. Like, I see the person, I get a good vibe. Part of it is your physical attraction. So then beta men, as they call it, ask those dumb questions. An alpha men, as they would call it, which this other comedian says, any guy that tells you he's an alpha man is a beta guy, basically. But you would go up to them and I would introduce myself. That's it. I don't ask any questions. I just say, hi, my name is so-and-so. What's your name? Right? I want to get to know them. In the States, I find women are like, in LA and New York, which is kind of where I grew up, they're like excited that you've approached them. They're like, first of all, they know exactly what's happening. They know that you're hitting on them. There's no secrets. Here, they're like, what are you doing? Like,
No, that's not true. I think that we're just
how
not
how
used
often
to-
have you approached women? I think I have the data. On
No, but
this one.
I am a woman.
So if I approached you, you may know what's happening. But the women I've approached do not know what's happening, or they really think I'm ugly, which also could be true. It's unlikely, but
Humble.
I'm just kidding.
You're so humble.
I'm
I
just-
like that with
I'm
you.
just kidding. But yeah, that's what I feel. In the States, it's part of the encouragement. If you see somebody, like even if you're in a car, say, you know the red light's there, you're gonna leave each other. Ask for a number right there. That's your chance. Like every opportunity is an opportunity. And the girl also, what I like about Israel was like this, and the U.S. The girl like will fuck with you a little bit, you know. She'll be like, if you say like, "Hi, I'm so and so," she'll give her name, and you know, you could say like, "What do you do?" And she'll be like, you know, "I'm a movie star. You know, would you like my autograph?" You know, joking because I came up to her. You know what I mean? I asked for her name. Like, how'd you know I was famous? You know, they'll play with the concept and then they'll fuck off. They'll say, "See you later." It's funny.
It's funny.
It's part of the game. It's exciting. Also, for men, besides our work or the sport that we play, one of the most exciting things that we can do is, quote unquote, chase a girl, right? Because especially like an attractive one to us is a hard catch in a sense. Now, I'm talking about people ages, who could be any age, but the way I'm speaking now is like asshole-ish, I suppose, in a sense, in that I'm saying, you know, we are chasing you, like hunting you or something. But what I mean is, it's how often do men do that towards women, or women do that towards men? Like, you hunt us, not in the same way. You don't go up to us or those types, because it's not socially acceptable. To your point, you were nervous. The other reason, in my opinion, is we've been being rejected our entire lives. Like, we've been asking women all the time, "How about you?" You'll be in Harry's. Be like, "How about you?" "No." "Oh, you're ugly anyways." "How about you?" "Oh, okay, I don't really care." "How about in the last one of the night?" "How about you?" And then she's like, "Yeah," or something. There's a comedian who does that joke. But the point is that for guys, we're constantly being rejected all the time, because in order to find the girl that we want, we're going to be told no quite often. I've been rejected thousands, if not hundreds of. Okay, I haven't asked that many people, but I've rejected 98% of the time. I'm rejected.
But also, can I ask you just a question here? You've been rejected a lot of times, and you know what's it called? The typical man. What's it called? The Joe. You say the Joe?
Yeah, the Joe.
Yeah,
typical
the Joe,
guy.
The typical guy. Actually thinks that something is wrong with her, because how I approach her and she rejects me.
No, I don't
Something's
think so.
wrong with her.
Okay,
Do you see?
Yeah, I do.
What I mean? Because when I've been approached, and also I've been approaching the same amount of times.
You've approached men.
Yeah, of course.
No, you haven't.
Of course.
What?
I have.
No,
yeah,
you
yeah.
haven't.
Actually, in
I'm
daytime.
very
Listen
impressed.
to this. Yeah.
Whoa.
In daytime.
How come
it
you
was
didn't
a
approach
brunch.
me?
It was a Sunday. Huh?
You didn't approach me?
Didn't I?
No,
Huh?
I approached you. I don't remember how we met, to be honest. It was probably Tinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You can cut that out. That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to check my phone. Sorry.
No, it's no
I'm on
problem.
call.
No. Oh, you're working. You can bring it in here. Bring it in here.
No. Phone's up.
Okay.
Okay. So I was at a brunch, and it was a Sunday. It was sunny outside. I was sober, of course, and that's a bit of a part in the equation here, because when approaching someone when you're drunk, that's a bit of a cheat. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not cheap, but it's just normal. That's when you go out. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but that's not impressive. If someone does it when
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
So I went up to a guy. This was a long time ago. It was maybe 7 years ago. And I walked up to him in the broad daylight, and I said hi. And he said hi, and I said, can I sit here? Because it was a big gang, so it was a bunch of people, and it was a chair left. And he was so like the eyes was like something's wrong with her. And then so we talked and we hung out and we started to hang out, and I know him still.
Lovely. How
Yeah.
many times have you done that type of action?
At that time, that was
Like
my
the only time.
yeah, it was my
Like
no
once.
no no
You've done that one time.
not the only time, of course not the only time, but the one that sticks out the most, because it was a brunch. I was with friends. I wasn't alone, and
Oh, you were with your friends.
Yeah.
And then you went over to him.
yeah, because I talked to them and I was like, he looks so, because I
Has a
heard
good vibe.
Yeah, he has a good vibe, because people in his surroundings were laughing when he talked, and I was like, I want to be part of that conversation.
Totally.
Yeah, so I just my friends they
Thought you were crazy.
they wanted to die. They're like
Their pulse.
no,
Their
their
pulse.
the pulse.
Yeah,
No,
that
don't do
never
it.
happens.
Never.
Have you ever had a girl approach you?
No.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna...
no. But I mean, like, yesterday when a guy comes to me, this is funny. Stockholm is the what does it say? Capital of Sweden. And people who lives in Stockholm thinks that they live in the biggest city on the planet, because you're from Stockholm. You have possibilities in life. You're gonna succeed. You live in Stockholm. You're better. A bit. No, that's for me. That's was a prejudgment.
No, I agree with them.
Prejudgment.
Okay.
I'm prejudgmental when I say that, because that's not fair to everyone.
But it's true.
A lot of people. No, I can't say that.
I believe it's true. I believe it's true.
Okay. But no, because this, what I'm going to say now, it just confirms my prejudgment.
Yeah,
prejudgment. A guy comes up to me yesterday in the bar, and he's like putting his elbow on the bar desk, and he lines down and he's like, "Hi." I was like, "Hi." I mean, do you live here? Are you from Linköping? Yeah. Oh, nice. I'm working with a mellow, you know. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, I don't feel the vibe here. I just feel like he's a dick. Yeah. Because he was like, I'm working with mellow, and then he wanted the reaction like, oh, wow, what? But I don't even look at mellow, so for me it was nothing. And he was like, yeah, and I think it's so interesting to come to Linköping. It's the first time I'm here, and it's just a small city, just to see and talk to, natives. I was like, oh, he's approaching here. He's failing, yeah, but he can't see that, because he's doing a study here. Yeah, this is big for him. He's done it. He's talking to a girl standing in front of him, listening to only him, and he says, I'm really good at reading people. Can I tell you what I know about you? This is true. I'm not even doing an extra salt on this story. He says to me, let me think. You're working in the, what's it called? Healthcare. You're working with healthcare, and you have a dog. I was like, funny that you say that, because sometimes I lie and say that I work in the healthcare because it's easier. You don't get any following questions. If you just say I'm working in the healthcare, people are just a bit rude, and they're like, oh, okay. But if you say I'm working with aircraft, oh, what? Why? How? Huh? Are you a soldier? Do you shoot people? Huh? So it's easier for me to just say that I work with like garbage truck. It's also easy because they don't have any following questions, because the work says what it is. So he's sure, and I told him that, yeah, that's impressively wrong. I have never had a dog in my entire life. I don't have a cat. I don't have any pets at all. And I work with aircraft. So it's dead things and no dogs. And he was like, okay. And I said to him, so can I tell you my prejudgment now? You're from Stockholm, and you think it's really exotic to be here, just to see how weird we are and how small. You want to make sure that people in this small little teeny tiny town, we are just like interesting to talk to just for a moment, and
like to study. And you think that you're a bit better than I am now because you approached me and you're a bigger person, and then you failed. I was a bit, no, I wasn't rude, but I thought he was really rude, and I had my I don't
mean,
understand
my
though
smile.
how else. Oh, sorry, keep going. I don't want to.
No, I still smiled at him, and I said it was a good try. Maybe you should just, if you say that to 10 girls in here, of course you would do a success once. Of course, somewhere in this room, someone owns a dog and works in the healthcare.
Just play the numbers. It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, so I told him that. And then just another guy came in the middle. Like, we were standing with this distance, me and that guy. And then another guy just came in here and started to talk to me. So that guy just went.
And you were glad that the other guy came?
No, because that was... no.
He was stupid.
No.
That was also... yeah. I wanted to hang out with my girls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. The tough. Yeah, I do understand. I actually admire, in a sense, any guy that goes up to anybody because it's scary for us too. It's not like it's scary for us too. We debate a while before we often go. Like, oh, what do we say? What should we do? Blah blah blah. We're nervous. Well, all of us are nervous, 100%. Unless you're drunk, then you're less nervous. But you're still like, oh, what should I say? What if they say no? I mean, and then we always tell ourselves, worst case they say no, we're back to where we started to begin with. So it's not that big of a deal.
I don't think he was nervous.
Yeah, he may have not been nervous. Was he drunk?
He didn't act drunk.
Okay, then he may have not. But even if we don't act nervous, it still doesn't mean we're not nervous. There was this. The best situations are we turn around, see the person, and we go right away. Because then nervousness can't build up yet. But the moment you see them and then you go, should I go? Now you're nervous. Because then you have to decide what are you going to... Now there's too much space to think about too many things. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know the guy. But I said that I admire it. At the same time, I used to admire people that did things that other people are afraid of. Like, let's say, going on stage and talking to people. Or going up to somebody. But now... I mean, you have to start somewhere, so you're going to suck probably at the beginning of it. But if you continue to suck at it for a long period, it's no longer admirable. Then it's just like, it's tragic. Really, it's tragic. That's a great way to say it. And the reason how I came to that conclusion was my brother has his own podcast. Shout out to the Footy Banter. And he is kind of inspired me to do this. And Joe all the time talks about doing open mic nights and going on stage. So my brother did it in Chicago in front of like 200 people. Has a great video and it's super cool. And I was like, dang, that was super brave. And at that period, it was brave. And he was good at it. He was funny. And he had things prepared to say. And, that was brave. That would be like a guy going up to a girl. That's brave. But then on Christmas Eve, I'm with my family back home. And my brother finds that at the Hollywood Improv, which is a very famous comedy place, there's an open mic night. So anybody can go to the Hollywood Improv. That's like Joe goes there. He actually goes to the Comedy Store, but, other comedians go to the Hollywood Improv. It's a big deal. So my brother is like, let's go, to myself. And it's Christmas Eve. So, most people spend time with their families, but my family, we don't celebrate anything. So we're like, okay. And my whole family decides to go on Christmas Eve to this open mic night at the Hollywood Improv. And my father works in the film industry, and my brother goes, Dad, bring your nice camera and film it to make it look like my Netflix special. So he could promote it on his Instagram and talk about his podcast just like Joe does. And I'm like, dang, I want to do that too. That sounds super fun. And brave and whatever else, because I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm going to say. Okay. So we get there. Do you think it'd be crowded on Christmas Eve at a comedy store? It might be empty. Or Jews or Muslims. It was packed. There were so many people there. And how it works is you write your name on a ticket, and you basically, it starts at like 9 and it ends at 12. And there's 75 people. That's the highest amount they allow. So you go 3 hours, 75 people. Like, I'm going to get on stage at some point, and I'm going to get to go at the Hollywood Improv. And subconsciously, if you killed it, the Hollywood Improv could tell you, you're a great comedian. Let's hire you full time or something, or part time. I was not hoping for. I don't want that, but it's cool. It's cool. It's like trying out for a pro team. They could say yes. So super exciting. So everybody's super excited. They pull out 5 names. They're like, Joe's on set. Jack's up next, and please welcome blah blah blah. And then they tell their jokes, and they only get 2-minute sets, so you can only talk for 2 minutes. All of a sudden, they stop pulling names out of the bucket, and my brother looks at me like, what the hell is going on? But people are still going on stage, so we're like, who are these people? As it turns out, people that work at the Comedy Store or the comedy club, they are working there because they want to be comics. So they've waited their turn basically for these open mic nights to go up, and they get 5 to 10 minute sets. So all of a sudden, all of us people who just show up for the night to put our name in a bucket to try and do something fun aren't going to get a turn, probably. Because there's only going to, over 3 hours, if they let one of their locals go, who work behind the bar at the door, we're only going to get to go if there's only 10 of them. But there's 30 of them, because they actually want to be pro comics. That's why they wait there every night until 2 a.m. So we're waiting there, and this woman in the back figures out what's going on, and she's there for her son, and she starts freaking out, starts yelling and screaming, and then she punches the shit out of one of the people. They drag her outside, and she gets arrested.
Well, that escalated quickly.
So quickly. And then what was the best part of the whole night was everyone was making jokes about her, like on stage, like, man, she's smart, like she figured it out before the rest of us. And the comedian up there is like, I don't have any better jokes than that. Like, that was by far my best one. Like, thank God she got arrested, so I had something funny to say. As a joke, it's comedians. But the saddest part was, it's Christmas Eve. So, I'm with my family. So it's, I have a loving family. I'm very fortunate. Most of these people either don't have friends or family because they're not with anyone Christmas Eve. They've traveled from a different state, moved to California in the hopes of being a comedian. There's literally people sleeping, waiting for their turn to go up. And they're sleeping on the table, waiting for the name to be called in the audience. It's a really depressing, and all the jokes were like, oh, I'm an alcoholic, and instead of having one beer, you should have 8. Like, it's just more fun. And you're like, this is really sad and not funny. And it was super depressing. But what I realized that night was it is not impressive to go up on stage because they were going up on stage without anything to say when they would go up there. And they had this one guy, he had a notebook, and he was like, well, let me start over. And it was saying nothing. For 2 minutes, 5 minutes, he said nothing. He didn't produce more than 4 words in a sentence. And I was like, that's not brave. That's not admirable.
Isn't it brave?
I don't think so. I thought, because it clearly wasn't his first time. He was to me, at that point, as opposed to me telling you, on Tuesday of next week, I'm going to go try and do an open mic where I'm going to go up on stage. I used to think that was quite brave of me. Now I think, I don't know if it's that brave because anybody can go on stage, but it is brave to go up and fail, tell a joke and have nobody laugh. That's pretty brave, which most of the people, I would call most of them brave. But I also found you just going up on stage to draw attention to yourself, and either you have something prepared and then you couldn't pull it out of your mouth because you were scared or whatever, and you do that every night, eventually, like you said, that's just tragic. It's not brave. It's just sad.
In the end, yeah.
Now, you have to go up and mess up, so I get that. But I used to go, every guy that goes up to a girl, that's brave. I admire that. But if he goes up and he isn't, doesn't grow in his creativeness to approach them, it's not brave.
It's not brave for a guy also in the drunk situation coming up to a girl 5 minutes before closing, putting an arm around her, saying, "Are you going home alone tonight?"
Yeah,
that's not brave.
Does that happen to you often?
Of course.
Oh,
and also that's not brave because people.
Right, that's not brave.
No, that's not brave at all because anyone could do that.
Right.
Anyone could do that when you're drunk.
True.
You're just an asshole.
Right. You're just.
Of course, if you go around, I live close to the club, so I can just walk home, and it's really close, so I can just have my high heels on and walk.
Yeah.
And then I walk alone.
Yeah.
I used to talk on my phone with someone, so I don't walk alone because even though it's close,
Agreed.
I feel like people will interrupt me if I talk on my phone.
100%.
But
you haven't met Americans, clearly.
a lot of people still comes up to me like, "Oh, you're going home alone? Should I join you?"
Oh my god!
And they're drunk. Yeah. I was like, "No."
Thanks.
I don't think so. No. Yeah. And then I leave. And I think
How do they say it in Swedish? What are the Swedish words for?
Tjena, ska du gå hem själv eller? För jag kan följa med. Alltså jag bor också ditåt. Eller du ska ditåt eller? Eller ska du ditåt? För om du ska ditåt så ska jag också ditåt. Alltså, är det lugnt? Alltså, du får säga nej. And then you say no. And they're like, varför inte? Why not? Sorry, that's
don't
just...
be sorry. I was curious. I wanted to know.
Yeah, so that's not brave people.
Right.
I would never think
it's hard though if you go out to... I think it's hard going out to a club and not knowing the person at all and going home with them on that evening. I'm not saying it's not been done before, but I find from a woman's perspective, it'd be terrifying for one Like if you don't know the night, it's one thing if you've matched on Tinder, then you're gonna go meet them, or you mutual friend, of course. Or let's say you don't have the mutual friend. Tinder would be the other way. Hey, let's meet at this place. Group of people. Then you get to know each other. Then that night you go home. That's not that weird. But to like go to Harry's, see a guy you've never seen, never met before, or a guy seeing a girl and being like, just based off of dancing, no conversation basically until the walk home. Like it would be. I would find it. I would imagine it would be difficult to like have a one night stand in that way.
I have a tip. My advice.
Please, to all the single people.
Yeah. You stand dancing with a girl. That's a good tip. Stand there.
No sneaking
dancing.
from behind and grabbing their ass.
No sneaking
Are you
from
sure?
behind. Yeah. Just
Are you
like
sure? I'm pretty sure that's
dance.
what we think.
Yeah. Smile. Smile a lot.
Smile
if
a
you
lot.
smile to a girl,
Okay.
or if I smile to a guy, or if I smile to a girl, it doesn't matter, because if I smile and I get a smile back, then I know something is actually.
So eye contact first.
Eye contact, smiles, dance, sing. Also, the best way
Sing.
is if it comes a song that you know the lyrics, and then you go, all in. Like I am the artist.
Right. This is good. This is good.
If it comes like a hip hop or rap song, and you know the rap, that's the best one. If you know all of the lyrics, because people are like, damn, she know the lyrics,
right?
And she does it, and then you dance and you laugh, and then you can just I'm a bit thirsty. Should we like water or something warm? You can't talk to each other because it's so loud.
Right.
So then you say, air.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go out, and maybe before I was a smoker, but I'm not a smoker anymore.
Snoozer.
A snoozer, yeah. Snoozer in the mornings as well. So when you go out, take some air, and then you can just maybe talk for a bit. It was like, it's warm, it's really hot.
Just talk about the weather, yeah.
Yeah, you do that. I mean inside.
Makes sense.
And
totally
like
sense.
nice dance. Do you want to, maybe if it's late, should we just grab our bags and go eat something?
Totally.
Not say, you want to go to me or to your place, to my place or your place.
Very good.
Don't begin with that question. Like, do you want to grab some to eat? Something to eat?
Yeah.
Where do you like? Do you like Subway? Do you like this or do you like this?
Totally.
Yeah. And also because then you're not a threat, because a lot of girls like me, I can feel like, you're a threat when you come towards me, attacking me with the question, hi, do you want to fuck? No. I would have told you if I wanted to, I think, but no. And then you could just get you can't even talk to them because you get mad immediately. Right. Appreciate just the smile, the curiosity, the interesting part. Be interested. I talked to a guy out, and it was so embarrassing because the only thing he talked about was his fame, and he tried to impress. That don't impress me much. I mean, actually, that's true.
Where'd you get that watch?
This watch, I bought it on Tradera. So it's secondhand.
It's nice.
Yeah, I bought it online to get a nice activity watch. So it takes my pulse, and it takes my steps, and it takes my locations. It's like a smart, yeah.
Very cool.
But it looks like a normal watch, and I think that's cute.
We're sponsored by.
We think so. It's Nokia.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
super fun,
a lot.
and I'd love to have you back on the show anytime.
Of course, anytime.